Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to the TV Key Facts show by RTL AdAlliance. We are coming to you live from the RTL studios here, the beautiful studios here in Cologne. And I'm Louise Eklund, I'm your journalist today, and I'm very happy that you have all joined us here this afternoon. So we're thrilled to have you with us today. We will of course be exploring the latest edition of the TV Key Facts, your annual report on the key trends in the total video landscape. Each year this report brings together the insights you need to stay ahead in a constantly evolving advertising industry. And today we're here to celebrate a marriage. Yes, you heard me. A wedding between tech and human. They say, I do. The future is all about convergence. Together they are a power couple, already transforming how we think about the future and opening up new opportunities for brands, consumers and media. So what's on the agenda for today? Well, we'll be unveiling the key findings, of course, from this year's report. And with us today on set, Eva Lihotzky, General Manager of Service Plan AI Lab. She will be discussing advertising strategies in the age of AI. Thanks again for joining the TV Key Facts show. Now let's dive right in with the Marketing Director at RTL AdAlliance, Aurélie Brunet de Corsou. Aurélie, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
So kind of getting the impression that RTL AdAlliance has become a wedding planner this year. You seem to be organising quite the marriage between tech and humanity.
Yes, I love it. So actually it is really in our DNA to find the synergy between the different players of the total video landscape. And that's what we're doing now with the human and tech, because they are really the two forces shaping our industry, right?
They are, yes, I think they are. We're observing this all together. But now, why now, actually? Why is this the right moment for the tech and human marriage?
Well, it has been precisely 2 years now since the AI generation took off. And I can't say that we really know where we're going, how it will evolve. But for sure, we are starting to using it. We're starting to see a bit its strength, where the humans are still irreplaceable, of course. And I think that's a good moment.
I do think it's a great moment. Before we dive in a little bit deeper into the tech side, let's start with what we humans are actually bringing to this marriage. What actually makes us so vital in this union then?
It's simple, profound emotions.
Emotions, okay.
Yes, our ability to connect and to create long-lasting relationship with humans, but also with brands, is really what sets us apart. You know, our ability to add this human touch, you know, the context, the depth. I think it's something that technology alone can't replicate.
Mm-hmm. And in the media, when you use, of course, emotional intelligence, it genuinely resonates with the audiences every time. And when we talk about emotions, we're also talking, of course, about creativity and, of course, content. So here is a quick look at what this means for the RTL group. Take a look.
I'm ready. Watch them adore.
So iconic. I think there you can really feel the emotion, the passion with this content. And when we talk about emotions, I think sports is really one of the key sources.
It is, definitely.
Yeah. So of course it's passion, it brings joy, it brings disillusion, but it's all emotion that unite us all. And I think that you've been very lucky recently. You've been covering the Olympics in Paris. So tell us a bit about what it was.
Well, it was an absolutely unique opportunity, of course, to work on the Olympic Games. I mean, I had the chance to work on London 2012 and Paris 2024. And I think one of the major things that sort of stood out to me was the fact that TV is extremely powerful, and this emotion that you're talking about really stands out when you see these athletes and their determination and the joy and the tears and the energy. So I think it's great for somebody like me who works in the business to really sort of feel the power of television at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly. You are lucky.
I was.
So every year, as you know, hopefully the TV Key Fact is monitoring, all the top shows of the previous year. And when we talk about sports, of course, we have to start with the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in the US, there is this huge American football competition, and the final achieved 113 million viewers. That's quite impressive. In Japan, apparently people love the baseball, and the quarterfinal between Japan and Italy gathered 13 million viewers, quite good as well. Whereas in the UK, women do the best.
Girl power.
Yeah. So the Women's FIFA World Cup gathered more than 7 million viewers.
Okay.
Good numbers.
Yeah, these are really great figures, of course, here. And of course, the emotion that sport provokes is something brands can really tap into as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So we have this great research from System 1. And what they've done is that they studies how a creative that is tapping into your left brain, so meaning that is really product-centric, bringing you rational data, and at the end aiming at a short-term response, okay? Whereas there are creative that are tapping into activating the right part of your brain, that are more, so to say, human-centric, that are trying to create a holistic impression and create an emotional storytelling. And actually, this approach is much more effective, of course, to create a brand, but also to create long-lasting memories. And the ad recall is 60% higher when you activate, the right part of the brand rather than, the product centricity.
Very interesting. And to effectively, of course, target our audience, we need to understand what they really like. While sport is a great starting point, predicting consumer habits requires effort, of course, and analysis, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Of course, the humanity is not this monolithic group. So we have to, go into the detail and the regional cultural specificities. And that's what we do with the TV Key Fact every year. So we analyze the viewing habits of more than 13 markets. And I think it's quite good to have, all the details about the local specificities. So to start with, the TV consumption is very high. Here you have the numbers of the daily TV viewing of TV, but it's ranging from 1 hour and 37 minutes in Oceania to 3 hours and 33 minutes in Latin America.
Okay.
And also, when you look at the top genre, so we look at the number one in the rating, and most of the time it's local content. I mean, content tapping into local culture or, local events. And Gadar 2, the film in India, was number one. It's tackling the Indo-Pakistan war back in 1971. In Italy, again, the Italian Music Festival of Sanremo, a classic on Rai.
We love it.
Yes, we love it. Whereas in South Africa, it's Uzalo. It's a daily soap. It's the story of two dynasties, family, and it's a hit since years. In the US, since almost 100 years, I've never been there, but for the Thanksgiving Day parade, apparently it's a must with, the big helium balloon and, crazy audience shares. Spectacular. In New Zealand, less positive, but people gather in front of the news for the tropical storm Gabrielle.
Okay, so obviously looking at regions actually really simplifies things, but it's not that straightforward. I mean, relying only on European averages is not going to provide, of course, the full picture here. So what key differences should we actually consider then?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know as European that, European is not a block, but it's hard sometimes to understand for brands that are coming out of Europe. But if we look at 3 countries, Portugal, France, and Poland, you can really see the differences. So first off, when you look at the time spent daily on TV, it ranges from 4 hours and 41 minutes in Portugal to 3 hours and 24 minutes in France. And also in terms of the genre that the people like to watch. If we look at the top 10 programs of 2023, excluding sports, what we see that the people like to watch really differs a lot. So you can see that the Portuguese apparently are very much into the game shows, whereas the French love the series and movies, and the police, the news, and politics.
I love series and movies. So because I'm English and French, I'm feeling more French right now. How do global industry players actually respond then to these unique specificities?
Well, they clearly understood the need from local content. People want to watch, content they feel close to, and they understood it. And in 2023, it's very interesting to see that for the first time, the global streamers, they invested more into European originals, so 53% of the spends, rather than acquiring European series and movies rights. So I think, we need to produce this high quality premium content that the people are asking us. It's just that we need this collaboration between the local broadcasters and the global streamers to make it happen.
Okay.
And just to give you one example among a lot, several, BBC struck a deal with Disney for their Doctor Who series. And of course, you can watch Doctor Who on the BBC in the UK, but then you can watch it on 150 countries thanks to Disney+.
Super series as well. It was sort of something that went through my childhood as well, Doctor Who. But I guess, of course, broadcasters are champions when it comes to creating programs that create really sort of I think the word is an attachment. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. Yes, we have the example, the local broadcasters are really in the best position to understand, the taste of the local communities. And just to give you an example, I don't know if you know the show Dragon's Den. It's Yvette Mon Associé in France.
French, yes.
So it's this startup pitching program. It's Die Höhle der Löwen in Germany. And it really works for all kind of target groups, especially the upper class. And it's quite impressive to see that 2.7 million upper class people, German, on average in 2024, would watch an episode of this show. So
not bad, not bad. Thanks for these figures. And as it happens, we actually bumped into the host of this show, The Dragon's Den, here in the RTL offices. His name is Amiaz. Amiaz. And he explained to us how he managed to create a deeper connection with the audience over the years. Here, take a look.
I think the trick over the years is not to create an atmosphere, it's more just to listen to them, to understand how they think, how they feel, and how important it is to them to come into Die Höhle der Löwen. Everything actually comes from that. Everyone who knows me knows that I prepare myself for the people for 100%. Because I realized if your interview partner realized that you prepared for him or for her, more than maybe they expected, they are ready to talk with you about what is very close to their heart and what is really important to them.
And I do actually agree. I mean, creating proximity and getting to know your audience is how you create moving and basically very successful content. Thank you very much to Amiaz for your insights here today. We've been discussing emotions and, of course, the importance of connecting with what audiences love. But as the saying goes, love is blind, so is relying on what we think people really love enough, especially in such a fragmented video landscape with diverse audiences and different tastes. And that is why Jean-Baptiste Maudieu, Senior Brand Director at RTL AdAlliance, will take us through what we've called a myth-busting session. We will challenge, of course, some common beliefs and see if they stand up to the facts. Jean-Baptiste, it's over to you.
Thank you, Louise. Yes, with emotions being so strong, we are often tempted to trust our gut feeling. But when you're planning advertising campaign, this can be really misleading. And I'll give you a very simple illustration that comes from the video consumption in the UK. So if you analyze the video consumption of marketers, people working in marketing in the UK, you will find out that 53% of their video time is spent on subscriber video on demand platforms, like Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime. They are really streaming addicts. Then if you ask these people, the marketers, what the people are watching, they will tell you that the proportion of SVOD viewing for the average British person should be 31%. That's their gut feeling. That's their emotional response to that.
Okay.
But if you then have a look at the official figure from BARB, the official measurement in the UK, you will see that the proportion of video viewing that is done on SVOD is only 17%. So that's a big difference.
Yeah,
that's nearly simple to double. So our industry, even if we are professional, tends to misjudge media consumption. So that's why it's time for some myth-busting together.
I love this myth-busting session. So myth number one, let's face it, everyone's glued to TikTok and video and Prime Video these days.
Yeah, that's a good start because this one is simply not true. You know, the UK is one of the most advanced markets when it comes to video measurement. And what Barb says is that if you take all the broadcast channels, it really dominates the viewing. If you add up the BBC, ITV, Channel 4, all other channels, you get 55% of the total audience share, 55% of total viewing. If you add up TikTok and Prime Video, they don't even come close.
Myth number two, SVOD platforms are constantly growing. There's no stopping them.
Well, this one is interesting because it used to be true. If you look at the curve of like the penetration of SVOD in the UK household, it was growing. But looking at the penetration of Prime Video, as an example, at the beginning of 2021, it was 44%.
Okay.
Now, 3 years later, 2024, it's 45%.
5%.
So that's not what I call a huge growth. And that's why these SVOD platforms now try to monetize differently. They are adding advertising tiers to their model to compensate for this stable user growth.
Myth number three now, SVOD originals are where all the real magic happens, period.
Period, but that is 90% wrong. If you take the top 10 streaming programs, you will find out that there is only one original within this top 10, which is Bridgerton, the format from Netflix. The 9 others are programs like The Big Bang Theory, Suits, or Grey's Anatomy, programs that aired first on TV and that sometimes are still available on television as well.
Okay. Myth number four, all the real growth is on social media.
I give you a mitigated answer because some social platforms are growing. It's the case of TikTok. But if you take the total of social usage in Western Europe, you will see that like for user penetration or time spent with social media, it's rather stable in the recent years.
Okay, and so are these myths actually affecting the advertising industry?
Yeah, and that's really the crucial point of these myth-busting sessions. This leads to campaigns that are not always optimized towards the highest return on investment. There's very good research from Group M, Ubiquity, and Gain Theory that was made in the UK. They analyzed the media mix of the top 141 brands in the UK, so where they put their advertising money. And they compared the actual advertising money, and they saw actually 35% of this money is spent on TV, and they compared it with the optimal mix that is given by the marketing mix modeling. And in the optimal mix, it's 53% that should go on TV if you're looking for the optimal return of investment. So again, a big difference.
Thank you so much, Jean-Baptiste, for this great myth-busting session. Data is now central to our industry, helping us make smarter, more informed decisions. But technology goes obviously beyond data. It's transforming every single part of our field, from broadcasters to creative agencies, changing how we think, changing how we work, and how we innovate as well. And for a concrete illustration today, let's turn to Europe's largest independent creative agency. Please welcome Eva Liotsky, General Manager at Service Plan AI Lab, to explore how tech can help humans. Much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're very excited to have you with us. Service Plan is known for its innovative and interdisciplinary approach. You recently launched 2 AI labs, one in Munich and another one in San Francisco in the States, to integrate AI into your creative processes. Could you tell us more about these labs and your role in all of this in Munich? from what I understand.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Happy to. So basically, in the beginning of the year, we really decided that we need to cater to like the regional progresses that AI makes, and like with our lab in San Francisco being really at the heart of the Silicon Valley, we can collaborate with the startups. We can also, integrate partnerships in our use cases that we want to provide, and for that, we're at the forefront of exploring like the AI progress, but also the innovations. And this is how we then also recombine it with my team in the EU, and also making sure that there we can really leverage like the knowledge, but for us also creating like the synergies, as you said, with like our creative experts, the media experts, and the technology experts to create tangible use cases, identify those projects where we can really also see the potentials that AI brings, and that is super exciting in my role to like kind of orchestrate, but also digging into the hands-on possibilities that you have.
So a super exciting role for you and a super
Indeed.
exciting initiative as well. We're hearing about, obviously, how AI transforms everything these days. What's your take on that, Eva?
Well, I mean, if you look back into the last 18 months, we have seen so much progress, right? And I mean, it's also known that almost 90% of companies already have like a digital and an AI transformation projects on their way. So what I find really interesting is that it's necessary to now look into like visual generation, because like 18 months ago, it was this distorted images that you could see. And now we can integrate like fully AI generated videos also into our processes. Or when we talk about natural language conversations and interactions, you've probably also prompted with ChatGPT and just imagining that it becomes conversational, and also you can chat with it not only like with written text, but also with your like interaction on your phone. That's super interesting for us to also explore. And then lastly, especially throughout the past couple of months, looking in the whole topic of like agents, combining different tools, making sure that you like also bridge the intersections to really automate different processes is just super exciting for us to also bring that into the market and our industries and explore what's like gonna happen.
I can imagine like every day is really fascinating. You're learning something new.
Yeah.
And with this transformation, what actual changes are we seeing within the marketing value chain here?
That's a super interesting question, because what we really explore and also want to cover is like from strategy to implementation. There are tools out there that you can bring to like each process step, but you can integrate them also to like leverage them across the whole also workflows that you have. And then looking into especially content generation, now the content at scale is actually possible. But also, like, I mean, we've talked about it and the topic of hyper-personalization for like a long time, and now it becomes reality.
Yeah.
And then the whole like interaction in context of like real-time interaction at the touch point with the customer is something that gets now really interactive, and that is where we benefit from it. So that's super exciting for us to also explore.
I think we all agreed that AI is opening up so many different possibilities in how we, for example, connect with our audiences. And maybe you can share with us more about how you use AI to enhance these connections. And you could maybe give us a couple of examples?
Yes. So especially when you like talk about the audience and the inspiration of it, there is something that we see of how to integrate AI in a more interactive way. So the ideation process becomes more interactive with, like, for example, a storyboarding tool that we've also created for our colleagues. And like the benefit of it, that like initially when you needed to scribble, it took a long of time and you cannot really like erase the mistakes that you made. But now you can like prompt a visual and you can create a whole story out of it. And then in the meantime, if you think like the middle section doesn't fit anymore, you can just prompt another one, and then it becomes faster, you can fail more, and then you can learn from it and also integrate it in the creative process. That's on the one hand side. And then when we talk about understanding the audience, we have also like those AI created personas through our tool Persona AI. And the benefit of that is that on the one hand side, you segment according to the demographic data that you can use and use it as the database to now create those AI generated personas and ask them interactive questions. And you can really see it as a chat and ask them questions that you might not potentially dare them need to ask in person. And using both of these potentials to integrate it in the creative process then brings us to a moment where the campaign becomes more creative, where we also, use this personalized data that we now derive from the AI personas to bring it into the channels. And I mean, who do I need to tell that with the distribution at the channels, when it comes to performance measuring, when it also comes to the optimization processes, there is also where AI can be used to, channel it across the different touch points and then also loop it back into the creative process. So there are so many possibilities that I also think that we still need to explore to become better.
Yeah, this is the beginning. We're sort of getting there now as well. Yeah, of course. And AI integration is part of your daily work and the work of your team as well, because you're not alone in this.
That's correct.
In this battle, I was going to say, it's not really a battle, but a project.
Thank God for them.
How are you managing this transition? Because it's a huge move, isn't it?
Well, I mean, on the one hand side, you can regard it also as the opportunity to integrate it into the workflows and to level it up from a quality and also interaction perspective. And what we do see is that we, on the one hand side, bring it to our group through training, through also those tangible use cases. We also explore hackathons where we put different kinds of experts into an environment where they can really also create and ideate with their explorations, but then also turn it into real projects. And I do think this moment of creating something tangible that you can actually understand, but then also incorporate into your workflows is something where we really benefit from, and then also leverage it through a scalable training that is incorporated into our group. But then again, it's also a topic around the mindset shift that needs to come, and also that we embrace with it, because being open towards all the future technologies that are still out there and that are being developed is something that we really want to foster as well.
Sure, because people don't really like change, so we need to work on that kind of thing to get everybody on the same page, I guess, as well. Thank you so much, Eva, for all of these super insights. Thank you very much for being with us
Thank you for
today.
having me.
And speaking of AI and how it can enhance our experiences, we're now going to take a short break, an ad break powered by AI. Here is how tech can boost our experiences.
Hi, it's me, Jennifer Lopez, Chief Celebration Officer of Virgin Voyages, here to invite you to celebrate. So come, celebrate
your anniversary, your birthday, or just generally being fabulous.
Really, Kyle?
It's good, right?
Gen AI is supposed to be inviting people to Virgin Voyages, not doing whatever that was. Just give me that. As I was saying.
Why not celebrate on an award-winning voyage with Michelin-starred chef-curated menus,
World-class destinations, award-winning...
Boring! I'll hop in there. I'll hop right in that suit.
So supple.
I can't watch this. Give it to me. There's no kids here. That's all you need to know.
No kids!
Oh, can I live there?
Gen AI. Invite your crew to voyage. Create your custom invite at virginvoyages.com.
It's not just a yacht, it's a super yacht. Volvo for life.
Super content. Now, we're preparing for the ultimate union of tech and human insight, and to explore the true potential of this alliance and how to make it work on the long term, we're joined by Danielle Bischoff, Chief Marketing and Operations Officer at RTL AdAlliance. Let's dive into tech and human. They say I do. So we're back with Danielle. Great to have you with us. How are you doing?
I'm very well. It's always a privilege to share the stage with you.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be with you guys as well. So this TV Key Facts edition highlights, of course, the importance of combining technology with human insight to enhance our industry. So let's start with the big picture. How can this convergence between technology and human insight be a game changer from a media and advertising sales house point of view?
If you look at our job as a sales house, AI is really an amplifier in all the areas. And combined with the human touch, it's really bringing us to the next level. Or as a colleague put it once, AI is helping us to do what we don't want to do, what we cannot do, or what takes us too long for us to do. Concretely, there are at the moment, I think, 3 areas that I would like to highlight where AI is already making an impact in our business. There's our partner ITV in the UK that used AI to address new types of advertisers.
Okay.
So usually when you do TV, it's pretty expensive in terms of cost for creating a spot, right? It can be like £75,000 and upwards for a TV spot. They managed to use AI in the production cycle and drop the cost to about £2,000 to £3,000 per spot.
That's a huge drop, yeah.
This makes it completely accessible to a new type of advertiser.
Of course.
Secondly, I want to highlight an initiative that is going on here in Cologne at RTL Germany.
Great.
They are using AI to better forecast their program reach. So when you look at the audiences in linear television, you always have to have an idea, okay, how much will there be of which type of audience? So AI is helping them to better forecast, which then leads to better monetization and also more impact for the advertiser. And finally, I think AI is helping us to make advertising more accessible to people with disabilities. Think about closed captionings or descriptions of advertising spots where AI already helps to do that on the fly.
Okay, so this is from obviously a sales house point of view, and I'd now like to hear you on what this convergence looks like for on the content creation side.
It's always 2 sides of the story, right?
Sure.
Advertising and content. And if we look at the content side, there's a nice study from a company called Runway, a Gen AI company focused on video. They estimate that by 2027, 50% of all video content that we will be able to watch online is AI generated. And that increased from 0.5% in 2023. So what we will be facing is a giant explosion of video content that is available to us. So of course, from an editorial side, it's also a huge task to keep the integrity of the content, to make sure that it is fitting the purpose that it needs.
Now, we are, of course, evolving in a very fragmented landscape as well at the moment. So how can AI help to engage with audiences for, obviously, the sales side and on the content side again here?
Yeah, again, I think AI will really help both sides of this game to excel. So if you look at it, if you're trying to find something, we saw the figures earlier on the streamers, if you're trying to find something on a VOD, broadcast VOD or streaming platform, it takes usually quite a bit of time.
Sure.
So Nielsen already in 2022 estimated that per session that you want to watch something, it takes you about 24 minutes in the US to find the stuff that you want to look at.
That's the story of my life. I mean, every time I go home in the evening, I'm like, I want to see a series, and it takes about 10, 15 minutes, and I end up falling asleep.
And then you end up watching nothing, the whole time you were searching for something.
Sure.
So here, AI can really change the game. Our colleagues at M6 in France are developing an AI that will help their broadcast VOD platform, M6 Plus, to have a more natural engagement with AI from the user experience.
Okay. Okay.
So imagine you come home and you have 30 minutes with your 10-year-old and you just want to watch a cartoon that fits this purpose, 30 minutes, nothing else. So you will be able to naturally talk to the platform and just say, hey, I have 30 minutes with my boy, recommend something. And that will lead also to better advertising, because then we understand better what is the context of your viewing experience, right?
Sure. This is going to change a lot of people's lives, I guess, as well. It's great news. So at this year's Cannes Lions, you introduced another application made possible through a new tech alliance. And I think it's a great idea if we share it with everybody today.
Sure. And we're at a good place to do so. Yeah. We're at RTL Germany, who partnered up with their former biggest rival, ProSiebenSat.1, to create the Tech Alliance, which is essentially a collaboration on the ad tech, which is, as we said today, there's technology and there's humanity on the other side. So technology is really the foundation of AI. And what will this enable? That from a broadcast perspective, they're using all the smart TV data, usage data, like a live panel, to understand who is watching what and which in ad breaks are watched by whom. So they can adjust the spots a few seconds before the ad break, targeted on that audience. So this will enable, on the one hand, a better monetization for the broadcasters, but on the other hand, also more impact for the advertisers, because you will have that audience in front of you that you want to connect to.
Okay, great opportunity there. There's a lot of opportunity, we can feel it, but with opportunity, of course, comes risk. Do you see any specific risks with technology in your field, again, sales house content?
Sure. I mean, as I said, if we think that half of the content that will be out there is AI generated, there's a huge responsibility on the editorial, on the content side, to also ensure that there's no copyright infringement, there's no personal rights infringement. It is fitting to the law context of the specific country, right? So there's a lot to do on the content side. On the advertising sales side, we have equally big, let's say, homework to do when it comes to AI. Yeah. And I want to underline three things here. So if you think about AI, the first crucial step is the underlying data, because the AI systems are trained on data. So if that data is already flawed, biased, or in some kind of way not correct, then everything AI will produce, the output later on, will be flawed as well. So there has been a lot of research going on. There was a researcher at Google, Timnit Gebru, who focused on this aspect of understanding what are the ethical boundaries and foundations that we need to create for that data that goes into AI. Secondly, a big risk for us is advertising fraud. So we already, it is estimated that about 20 to 25% of all advertising investments are fraud, let's say, based, meaning no human being has watched it, some clickbot has watched the ad. So now if you think about that giant explosion of video content generated by AI, and then being watched by AI, bots, right? It's not a good, let's say, return on investment for an advertiser. So here's a big task for us to ensure ad fraud is minimized the best way possible. And finally, another risk is that the output of the AI is, let's say, not fitting or not correct. You know, we already have this situation that sometimes AI is hallucinating, right?
And you need to create a framework, is that correct as well?
Exactly. I think if we look at those three things, that's where we urgently need to create a framework to ensure that the underlying data is correct, that also the input of us human beings with the data, so the prompting is correct, so and the output is verified and is fitting to the content.
And so what does that mean then? What it means that how do you actually go about creating an effective framework for AI in this very data-driven world then? How do you do that?
So as I said, three areas: underlying data, input by human beings, and the output. So if we look at the underlying data, we have some great content actually this year in the TV Key Facts looking at the essence of why the data needs to be verified and correct, right? So we are trying to share a lot of experience with our partners, advertisers, and clients on that field. Secondly, the input by human beings. When we interact with AI today, either via typing something in or speaking with it, we need to understand that everything we put in will create a result.
Yeah.
And this can be biased. So there's a great example of a Unilever brand called Dove. They created an AI playbook. So for creators or people that interact with AI to understand how do I prompt AI correctly so that the result is not biased, is ethical, is correct representation of what I want it to be.
And anybody can consult that then?
Anybody, you can download it actually for free. You just have to look for it in the internet, but it's the Dove playbook for prompting AI. And finally, the output.
Output, yeah.
So here I would say very clearly it starts and stops with humans, right? So whatever you put in, we talked about this, will define what comes out. But even when it comes out, as I said, AI sometimes is just hallucinating, right? So you need to really check, is it fitting the cultural context of what I was trying to say as an advertiser, for example? Is it fitting the law, like environment in that country? So there are many aspects that you have to look at and verify the output. You cannot just use it and then put it in the world. It won't be the right way.
And there's a new rule that we could maybe talk about as well, like a...
Yeah. So if you if you think about it, in the future, AI will create this new 80-20, let's say Pareto rule, right? So 80% of the heavy lifting, the stuff that we don't want to do, the stuff that takes us too long, the stuff we're not good at, right, can be done by AI. But that 20% of the human verification of the data, verification of the output, that is needed to really create the 100% impact of AI.
So as we celebrate this marriage between tech and human insight, would you say that the future was bright, Danielle?
I would say that me personally, I'm a bit of an optimist on this topic. But what I would say about our industry is that we're in the early stages, right? We're testing, we're trying out how to leverage AI in the many different areas of, that we're working in. Content creation, we're at EFA talking about agency work with AI, advertising, sales house. We're all trying to find the best way. There will be a lot of mistakes, for sure, done with AI. But on the long run, I believe that it will help us to create more engaging content, which automatically leads to better advertising experiences and possibilities, which ultimately leads to everything we work for, which is more bang for your buck, more ROI for the advertiser. So in that sense, I think it will have a great impact on our industry. Thinking more globally, I think as human beings, we have always been very creative. Ingenuity is all around. We do a lot of stuff, we do a lot of mistakes, but we also have the ability to reflect on it. And that balance, I think, will be key when working with AI. So that ultimately we will use it to really boost our best efforts and improve our world on this. And I would say, contrary to maybe what some colleagues think of me, I'm a pretty glass half full guy when it comes to it. I think that what comes next in terms of AI for us is really great.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for all of this great insight and this great discussion. Thanks, Danielle. Now it's time to celebrate this union, a partnership grounded in balance and purpose, ready to take us, of course, further. And who better to give the wedding toast than Stéphane Koruble, CEO of RTL AdAlliance. Please come and join me.
Ik voel hem niet echt.
Félicitations.
On va tout faire quand même.
Stéphane, great to see you again. How are you doing?
Great to see you. It's twice a year now, Greece. One time in Cannes and second time in the fall season, right now and today. Great to see you.
Always a pleasure. So this year's edition, we're about to wrap up, obviously, of the TV Key Facts, was crafted, of course, to reflect the theme of convergence this year in a very unique way. You even chose to illustrate it through the design of our report, of course. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about it, first of all.
So, first of all, if you allow me, and usually I do that at the end of the presentation, but I wanted to take the opportunity to really say a few words about this presentation and my team. I think, I don't know how they do it, how they manage. It's the 31st edition of the Total Video Key Facts. And every year they found a great angle, new ideas, new narrative, to make this piece of research very contemporary and very close to and reflecting all the industry trends of today. So big up. A big thank you to the team. I think it's great. Also bringing, this presentation, the book. We're going to talk about the book in a few minutes. The experts that we have seen around this presentation, and I hope our audience is appreciating it. So I would like to thank you, my team, to thank our partners, you, and also our partners around the world for making this happen. I think it's not a guaranteed thing every year to do it. And one more thing, maybe to thank also the RTL Germany team for welcoming us and hosting us here in Cologne for the first time, I think, for the TV Key Facts. So it's great. It's great.
Back to the book.
So back to the book. So the famous book. Let me take it as a matter of fact. So the illustration and the why. I think at RTL AdAlliance we always say that tech and media are part of the same coin.
Yes.
What we saw today is that technology and humanity are part as well of the same coin. Look at us. We are humans, and we're having these little things here, and enable us to
does help, doesn't it?
Yeah, to go further into the presentation. So we wanted to have two angles at seeing things and seeing this convergence. So the first beginning with the humanity, humans. Our creativity, or the cultural aspect, our sensitivity as humans, and moving forward by using technology as an enabler, to gain productivity, being more automated, etc. And we wanted as well to take the other side of the coin and say, from a pure tech perspective, we can do many things, but in the end, we need to have some kind of humanity in order to move forward. And this is what we wanted to translate in this nice book, which is a very interesting book. It has two covers, one coming from the humans meet tech, this one, and we have the other one where here the tech meets humans. So you can read it through the two sides of the book, and I think it's very creative. Again, I think the team has done a great job here.
Yeah, congratulations to the team. So this edition introduces obviously a new narrative for the media industry, one that obviously emphasizes convergence, collaboration, and brings sort of renewed pride in a way to everybody's work. Can you tell us why this shift is so essential then for the future of media and advertising?
Sure. So the new narrative you're mentioning is a way to celebrate today some sort of a real moment of positivism for the industry. And I see this across, I would say, three major trends. So the first being that total video is here to stay, and we should be proud. It works. We should be proud of it. I was in the US just a few days ago, and I had the chance to meet some clients and agencies, and total video is here. It's their bread and butter. Every day they talk about linear streaming. It's the same thing. It's about total video. And I'm glad that a few years ago, RTL AdAlliance said we're gonna change the acronym TV into total video, and I think we were right. And we saw in this presentation that linear, non-linear is progressing, is moving forward in terms of consumption. It's extremely resilient in terms of media. It's trusted, and it's growing. So, and it has proven through the research that it's being very efficient for advertisers. So we should say it louder, definitely, and be proud of it. So,
number two.
Yeah, second aspect. Well, we talked about it. Convergence between human creativity and technology is, in my view, a must.
Yes.
where technology is an enabler and AI is an enhancer of our human creativity or of our smartness. You know, again, a few weeks ago, I was listening to this Harvard professor, and I was struck by his way of seeing the impact of AI, and was saying that basically AI is not just only to gain productivity, to be more cost efficient, it's also, and foremost, about enhancing your own added value, your individual creativity. So in other words, if you're smart, if you have a clear vision, AI will make you stronger. Okay. On the other side, if you're not having a vision, if you are doubting, AI will increase that aspect and will be very negative. So very interesting way.
And number 3?
So number 3, we talked about collaboration, and definitely I think this industry needs to work closer together in a trustful way. We need to invest in advertising powered by iconic media and traditional media owners as we are, because it fuels the wheel. You know, we are having more capabilities to create content, to invest in free journalism,
verified
journalism, and to create engaged audiences that create outcome for the advertisers. And this is, it's like a virtuous circle that needs to be fueled again and again. So we had this idea a few weeks ago for the 50th anniversary of the ECTA, the European Association of Media Sales House. It was in London, to create a little movie about this virtuous circle, and I propose that we have a look at it.
Yeah, here we go. Let's take a look.
This is a story about Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hey.
He's a brand director.
Nice suit, by the way. Thanks.
Now, Alex was keen that his brand should grow. So he spoke to Sam, who works at a TV sales house, and showed Alex how to best reach many people and make them love the brand with a perfect TV campaign. So that's exactly what they did. Wait, was that a singing cat? That's right. The campaign featured a singing cat, and people loved it, shared it, talked about it, memed it. In fact, Alex's campaign was shown next to premium programs, so its power was multiplied. Now other brands saw Alex's success, and they decided that they too would like to make a big splash on TV, which meant even more great ads. And when TV channels have more great ads, they can make more great television, engaging entertainment, and documentaries, great sports, trusted news. One big virtuous circle with brilliant brands and ace TV sales houses and premium content and people like you and Alex and Sam. Oh, and not to forget, of course, audiences, brands, content. It's our ABC. RTL AdAlliance.
Maybe you'd like to comment on this film.
Yeah, well, every time I watch it, I have a little shiver, I must say. It's great production, by the way, by a really cool production company called Gédéon in France. What does it show? It shows that when we work together, we can do great things together, and we can achieve a lot of things, and above all, defend democracy. I think it's a very strong statement. And if you allow me just a few minutes, you know, we were just a few days ago, yesterday, seeing the US elections. And I've been watching a lot of information on TV by real journalists, you know, about the backstage and how it works and how the population is reacting and preparing for the US elections. And I was struck by something a little bit scary, I must say. I saw so many times within these documentaries that young generation were not watching news anymore on TV. And they were looking at news or getting informed by moving and looking at social media, TikTok, Meta, Instagram, and watching their favorite influencers. And I think when you go into that field, it's really difficult to understand what is real and what is not real, what is verified news, what is not verified news, what is fake news, what is AI deep fake videos. And I think that's very scary. And we should take a stand about this. And I think in the end, it is our responsibilities as media leaders, media owners, traditional media companies to create a safe space and safe content for free journalism and great news. But on the other side, we cannot do it on our own. You know, we need advertisers and agencies to invest money in our media in order to continue to invest and build a shield against fake news and protect democracy. I think that's a strong message that we wanted to convey.
Very important message, of course. We talked a lot about highlighting or sort of encouraging collaboration, of course, and unity. So how does RTL AdAlliance turn this vision into real concrete actions then?
You know, collaboration is one of our RTL AdAlliance values. We've been working for many, many years with vast majority of European broadcasters or premium publishers that share the same view on the media. Transparency, great content, qualitative content, engage audiences, true journalism, etc. On the other side, we've been investing a lot of money, a lot of efforts into technology at the same time to bring innovation, to simplify the access to the inventory, and above all, to execute campaigns in a very effective way and seamless way. I really believe that AI and technology will contribute even further in the future in bringing additional advantages to us. I would say being more granular, we saw it during the presentation, bringing more customization, having more insights on the audiences that we reach, to have more targeted options, to enables us to take data-driven decisions when we are making a plan and reaching our consumers. So this is what advertisers and agencies want from us. They want innovation, they want trust, they want brand safety, and they want effective media. And this is what we need to give them. Maybe a last word on, Aurélie, our marketing director at the very beginning of the presentation, say something about at RTL, we believe in a 100% ad-served future. Yeah. And I fully agree with that. I think we're not there yet, but we are on the verge and we are on the road to get there, and we are investing a lot. So stay tuned. In a few weeks from now, we will have some other seminars coming up, and we will see major new projects that will be announced that will bring more innovation, more simplicity, more addressability, more flexibility, thanks to technology, but far and foremost, thanks also to stronger, better, radical collaborations.
Thanks very much, Stefan. Thank you for leading us through this new narrative today. This marks the conclusion of the 31st edition of the TV Key Facts. You can explore everything here, the complete study and more content, of course, on the RTL AdAlliance platform, where you'll find, obviously, the insights and data we've discussed today. A big thank you to all of you. I'm going to thank personally Aurélie Brunet de Corsu, Jean-Baptiste Modio, Daniel Bischoff, and all our guests who have joined us today. Your insights have obviously been invaluable in shaping this conversation. And of course, a special thank you to the RTL AdAlliance team. Give yourselves a big round of applause. They're just behind the camera. Well done. Making a great event for this team. And from us, well, it's goodbye for now. And we will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.